Hi, before we have our Google Drive organization party, I wanted to put together a little screencast for people who are new to Google Drive. Here are our outcomes for this quick screencast. The first one is to define Google Drive. Google Drive is a file storage and synchronization service created by Google, so you need a Google account to do this. Just your Gmail from Mercy will work. It's like what we used to use as our archive, or possibly even what you have on your computer if you're saving documents to your computer. But in this case, if your computer goes down, um, then you always have it here. Also, it's free and we pay for maintaining our servers. So this is just a better way to organize your files and keep them uh, forever. I also wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how to know the difference between the different Google apps. Now, sometimes we use the word Google Drive or Google Docs kind of interchangeably to describe anything that is saved on the drive, but the drive is a file saving uh, or storage service. The things that are saved in there, the types of files are things like the docs, the slides, the sheets, and the forms, and they do align with the Microsoft suite, the Office suite. So to give you an example, this right here is a Google Doc. So it's a document and it's used just like a word processing program or just like Microsoft Word. This right here is a Google Slide, and it's just like PowerPoint. So it has almost all the same abilities as PowerPoint. It's not as fancy, but it's getting better and better. Right here is a Google Sheet. So this is just like Excel or any spreadsheet system that you use. It uses the same things. You can use the same functions. You can look up new functions. You can organize it in any number of ways. And then among other things, we also like to use the Google Forms. And these are just like Monkey Survey, kind of their surveys. You can send them out as quizzes or other things like that to collect information from students. You can share all of those things in your Google Drive, and you can also save them all in your Google Drive. Everything saves automatically. So if you look right here, any changes I make will save automatically. So if I were to type a few things down here, it says saving at the top here, and now it's saved. So I don't ever have to save that. When I erase, same thing happens. Um, Next, we want to talk about the difference between the drive and shared with me. So let's take a look at my drive really quickly. And we can see if we go to the top here that everything in here is my drive. So all of my folders, all of my documents, these are the ones that are organized, and part of the reason why I need a Google Drive party is because I have all these documents that are unfiled. And so we'll kind of go through how you can do some of that. So my drive is anything that I own or that I've started myself. On the other hand, things that are shared with me are documents that have been shared with me by someone else. So you can kind of see here that these are all the documents that have recently been shared with me, and these are the people that they have been shared by. And you might not have this little preview up here, so I'll just show you how to get that. So if I would like to see that, I can just click right here where it says More Actions, and I can say View Details. And that way I see more than just the name of it and who shared it with me. You can also scroll to the bottom and see a little bit more information. You can click on activity and see who edited it when. Another trick is to add this to your drive. The fastest way to be able to find documents is that they're already added to your drive. So something that I'll do is I'll save this Day of the Dead schedule to my drive. First thing I want to do is just click on it. Just once, don't open it, and you click on this right here to say add to my drive. There are a few other ways you can do it, but that's probably the quickest way. Now I want to organize that, so you can either just leave it in your folder or you can organize that somewhere else. So I'm going to organize and move it somewhere else. It gives me a list of my folders. I'm just going to add it to, I don't know, just randomly Academic Council. I'll hit move, and now it's going to be shared there for the rest of time until I move it. It doesn't matter if I move that because Angie has her own way of organizing this. Anything that's now in my drive, I can organize however I want to. Another thing you can look at is if documents are your own. So let's go back to my drive. And again, if you just want to click on this back and forth, you can go to my drive here as well, or shared with me. But if we look at my drive, you can see a few different things about your folders. Anything that here that has a little person in it means that it's been shared with other people and it's viewable by them. Anything that has the little arrows means that there are extra folders in there. So I'm just going to show you how we can organize things. For instance, I have a folder called PSAT Fall 2015. I'm going to need to rename that at some point because I'll need to do the 2016 ones as well. But let's say I just wanted to add this practice document in there. I have a few things I can do with that. I can just take that and grab it and drag it. I can take it and right click, which on your Mac would be the control button, and just clicking on your mouse, and it gives you a ton of options. I can move it somewhere, I can share it, I can rename it, I can view details, I can do all kinds of things. First, let's view the details of it because, and this just says practice, it's not an actual document yet. I want to show you a way that we can search for things more easily by adding tags or labels or a description. So this is just like you might hashtag something. If I add some descriptive words here, I can say things like PSAT 2016 practice answers, data, any sort of keywords that would help me search for it and find it later. Just click out of that. So now when I search for any of these terms, this document itself will come up, even if it's not in the name. So I'm just going to click on this and drag it into the PSAT Fall 2015 folder. And it says it'll be shared with other people because it's a shared folder. That's fine with me. It's a blank document. And we're all set. So that's how you can drag one thing. If you want to drag multiple things, you can click, hold down the Shift key, click on whatever else you want to drag, and then you can drag these all at once. I don't want to drag all of these folders all at once, but it's an option for you. Let's go back to our outcomes for the day. We also want to learn how we can start, edit, and name your own files. So going back to my drive, if I wanted to start a document in the PSAT Fall 2015 folder, I could, and I could just hit New, Google Doc, and it's going to ask me if I want to create it in a shared folder. If I don't want to, I'll probably just go right back up to my drive. And now I'm going to start it and it'll just go straight to my drive. So Google Doc, I start this, it comes up as untitled. The first thing that I want to do is make sure that I name it. And you want to be really specific with your naming conventions. So if you want to talk about your meeting notes, so for instance, if it's a math department meeting notes and agendas, I also want to say 2016. And then if there's anything else you want to add, you could add it to that. But this is really great because it doesn't just say my department's name. It doesn't just say what we have in here. So not only notes, but agendas, and it also gives a year. If I wanted to keep track of notes year after year, sometimes I'll do something like, I'll say like all years. If I want to make new folders, I would just go to new, and in this time, instead of hitting doc, I would hit folder, and then you would just name that folder. Separately from naming documents and giving them a longer name or really specific name, I would suggest making shorter names for folders so that they're easier to read because they're going to be truncated over here. You can always pull this out if you need to, but just for ease of use, just having something short and kind of the least amount of big folders and then having little folders with inside of them is a good idea as well. Now, if I want to share folders, I can do a couple of different things. I'm going to click on my all faculty and staff right now, and I can go over here to share. I can also see who it's shared with, so it's all with all faculty and staff. I can add additional people by doing this. I can also drag it, just like I did for any file, into a different folder if I want to. Those are all options for me when creating folders. Again, creating subfolders is a great idea. So for instance, if you teach Biology 1, you probably want a folder for each unit, for student assessments, for your own notes, for student notes, things like that. Anything you might use to have a student organize theirs as well. Finally, the thing that people probably ask about the most is how to transfer their files from their archive or desktop or laptop. The easiest way is just to do a drag and drop. So open up whatever you have and just drag that file or folder into Google Drive and drop it. I'm going to drag something in right now called naming conventions. I'm just going to drop that. And in a second, something will come up over here that tells me that it's uploading, I think, if it works like that. And then the other thing you can do is drag entire folders. It takes a long time, so you kind of just have to sit there. So go ahead and load up your Netflix queue and do that whenever you have time and just wait for it to upload. You can see this took, less than a minute to upload, but if I wanted to do a whole file folder, that would take longer. Thanks for your time and attention. I hope this was helpful. We'll catch you at the Google Drive party if you have any more questions.